Stand with us for as we sing the morning. Stop Spotify. The audio. I searched the world. They couldn't feel me. There's empty graves and treasures that they never enough. Then you came along and put it back together. Every desire is outside enough. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Come on, I'm not afraid to show you my weakness. Failures and flaws, don't you see more than you still call it friend. Cause the God of the God of the God, there's not a place, no mercy. Oh, there's nothing, oh, there's nothing better than, oh, there's nothing better than you. Come on, come on, in. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Yes, I know it's true. You turn on into dancing. You can do it for a chance. You can change to glory. Glory, glory, glory. Yeah. You turn on into dancing. You can do a chance. You can change to glory. Glory, glory, glory. Yeah. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Come on, come on. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Celebrate. You turn on into dancing. Pastor Steve is on a very well-deserved vacation, still coming back this week. I wanted to say, since we are recording, I basically tradition from last year, Crazy Sock Day. Couldn't find them. I guess my daughter had borrowed my socks, and I don't know where they are, but I did get a pair of cheese socks from Tyler. So being Crazy Sock Day, see that? In honor of Father's Day, happy Father's Day to everyone. You're welcome. Happy Father's Day. Let's pray before we continue worshiping. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much, Lord God, for all you're doing. What a chance to come together again as a body of believers. Lord God, we thank you that your Spirit is here alive and well today. Alive and well, Lord, in crazy times and all that's happening in this world, Lord God, you are the rock. Your Spirit will carry us. Help us to be that rock for our neighbors that are looking for help, for our friends and family that are struggling. Lord God, help we as your church, as your people, Lord, have your Spirit flow through us. Lord God, may we use today in this worship and the words that are spoken today to carry that strength to our lives, to our co-workers and our family, Lord God. We are here to praise you. Lord God, we are here to worship you, but we are here to be filled by you, Lord, to fill them overflowing, that we might touch lives, and that people might be saved and believe in you because of your love and what you did for us, Jesus. In the mighty name and the power of Jesus, we say thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Are you hurting and broken within? Overwhelmed by the weight of your sin? Jesus is calling. Having come to the end of yourself, do you thirst for a drink from the well? Jesus is calling. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was offered. The precious blood of Jesus Christ. Leave behind your regrets and mistakes. Come to me, there's no reason to wait. But Jesus is calling. Bring your sorrows and trade them for joy. From the ashes you have born, Jesus is calling. Come to the altar. Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought there. The precious blood of Jesus Christ will come to the altar. Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought there. The precious blood of Jesus Christ. What I say, Lord, isn't he wonderful? Sing hallelujah, Christ is risen. Bow down before him, for he is Lord. Sing hallelujah, Christ is risen. And oh, what I sing, Lord, isn't he wonderful? Sing hallelujah, Christ is risen. precious blood of Jesus Christ. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness, forgiveness, the precious blood of Jesus. God, we praise you today for all that you are, for all that you do for our lives, for being here in this place, in this room, for never leaving us. Lord God, you never fail us, you never forsake us. Lord, we just pray your Spirit be part of all we do, Jesus. For this side, eternal promise, living in your sons and daughters, earth revealing heaven's wonder. Spirit come, Spirit come. What you spoke is now unfolding. All your children shall be holy. Take away this moment. Spirit come, Spirit come. Pour it out, let your love run over. Spirit out, let your glory fill this house. Pour it out, let your love run over. Spirit out, let your glory fill this house. Tell the world it's your presence, and this power is within us. Your life to be your witness. Spirit come, Spirit come. Hold it out. And our hearts continue burning. For our King is soon returning. As we hold to this assurance, Spirit come, Lord, we thank you that you're here once again. Everything we do, every ounce of energy we have, we give it to you. Lord, thank you for being that father figure in our life. Thank you for the fathers that are here and all they mean to each of us. God, we bless you this morning in Jesus' name.
Lord, we thank you, God, for who you are this morning. God, we thank you that you are the one that fills our lives with good things. Lord, we pray, God, as we transition to the rest of our service this morning, God, that you would continue to move in us. Lord, continue to be active in our services. Lord, help us to want to hear from you. Help us to want to hear what you have to say to us today. For today is an opportunity to interact with you. It's an opportunity to get what you have for us, Lord. And our minds might be set on what's happening later. It might be set on, what we have to do, what we have to accomplish, or maybe we have certain areas in our life that we're like, I don't really want God to get a hold of that area because it's going to be painful or it's going to grow me. Lord, I pray, God, that you just help us to lay all that stuff down. Lord, help us to lay all those things down, Lord, and to recognize that you are the one that brings good things into our lives. Lord, you are the one that brings good things into our lives. So may we trust you. God, may we open ourselves today and say, God, every area of my life, Lord, everything is open to you today. God, speak to me and show me how you want me to grow. Lord, I pray that that would be every single one of us today. Bless our service time today. Thank you for being with us so far, God, and I pray that you can continue to stay with us as we go throughout this rest of the service in your name. Amen. Amen. You can go ahead and take a seat. I am Pastor Tyler. I'm the Youth and Associate Pastor, and I just want to welcome you here this morning. As we said, Pastor Steve is away on vacation. So this morning we get the pleasure of hearing from our worship pastor, Joe. So he's going to be preaching. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. We're excited for that. I'll clap for you, Joe. So anyway, that is what's happening this morning. Joe is going to be preaching. And so for our announcements this morning, you get to hear from another staff member that we have on staff. This is Wendy Cotterbud. Did I say it right? Yes, thank you. And Wendy is our early childhood director, so she's going to share our announcements with you this morning.
Thank you. Well, I just want to start by saying Happy Father's Day to all the dads in the room and online. My first announcement has to do with Father's Day. I was doing a little bit of research last night and looked at some statistics. When a father is actively involved in a child's life, kids tend to be more successful. They have usually better behaviors, and they have higher self-esteem. So it just goes to show how vital your job is in your kid's life. And Bridgeview wants to celebrate fathers by doing a Father's Day contest, or Father's Day contest. And so you can do it by either going online to Bridgeview and participate in that way. Otherwise, you should have gotten an email with a link in there, and there's just and then a drawing, and you guys get to win some awesome prizes. And my second announcement has to do with all the kids in the room. This is more for you guys. I'm so excited. We have upcoming on June 27th, Saturday at 10 a.m. We get to have kids' church service in this room. We haven't gotten together in like months. We are doing online and we'll continue to do online, but I'm so excited. Pastor Strong and I have been working with our kids team, getting ready to have that service here in the room. Now, some of you might say, well, why don't we just have kids' church on Sunday morning? And that's a really good question. One of our biggest hurdles right now is that if you went down to the kids' wing where all the classrooms are, they're all under construction. So we absolutely can't meet in there. So that's why we'll be meeting in here. And I cannot wait to see all of you guys, all the kids on that Saturday. However, I would like to encourage the kids to invite their parents to participate and join us that Saturday morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Well, good morning. I don't know how I should follow that up. It's a little bit weird seeing a picture of yourself on the screen. But dads, we love you. Happy Father's Day. This is one of the most fun days of my entire year. Because I usually get free root beer someplace. Just kidding. Just kidding. It's a great day. I love being a father. Being a father is probably one of my favorite things in the entire world. And dads, if you're anything like me, which I know I am, it's just a fun day. So I'm just so excited to be able to preach this morning, to be on day. So I'm just so excited to be able to preach this morning, to be able to speak. We can't possibly go any further into the day before we share just a couple dad jokes. Is that okay? Even if you say no, I'm sorry, I got the microphone, you don't. So I'm going to share them anyways. If we're rating these on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, that was so bad, and guys are like, but funny, right? Okay, so first one, ready for this? On which side do chickens have the most feathers? The outside. That was funnier than what you guys let on. Come on. There we go. Yes, thank you, Meg. Woo. Next up, why can't the clap? Because he's dead. That's good stuff. Thanks, Billy. I love you. Last one. It doesn't get worse than this, I'm sorry. What do you call a dog with no legs? It doesn't matter, he's not coming. Thank you. I wish I could say that I wrote those, well, I typed them, but I definitely copied them from somebody else. So, hey, it's just fun. It's just fun. I have not been able to speak for a long time up here, other than playing behind the guitar and singing, so this is going to be a little bit weird. Disclaimer, I tell everybody this, I do speak a little bit fast, so I apologize up here, other than playing behind the guitar and singing, so this is going to be a little bit weird. Disclaimer, I tell everybody this, I do speak a little bit fast, so I apologize. If you need me to slow down, good luck. But hey, I am kicking off this morning a 6-part series. As often as I speak, you can expect a very, very, very powerful altar time in 2025. Okay, so make sure you're here for all of those messages. Some of you get that in like 30 seconds. It's okay. I just really feel like we should pray right now. Lord, we just thank you so much for this morning. God, you are in this place, and it's obvious, God, that we're going to do something here. So, Father, I pray that you be with us. Lord God, give me the words to say. Lord God, help me to speak clearly. God, to articulate what it is that you put on our hearts this morning. Lord God, I pray that this morning will be a day, God, I'm just drawing close to you. God, will be a challenge. God, the issue of fatherlessness that Wendy brought up earlier, Lord God, it is a problem. And so, Father, I pray that you would just provide father figures in the lives of those that don't have one, Lord God. Lord, that you would work fatherlessness that Wendy brought up earlier, Lord God, it is a problem. And so, Father, I pray that you would just provide father figures in the lives of those that don't have one, Lord God. Lord, that you would work a miracle in our community, in our state, in our country, Lord God, that you would bring fathers back to the homes, Lord God. You would raise up mentors, Lord God, to raise just qualities in kids, Lord God, that are missing right now, Lord God. We thank you so much for instilling your heart with fathers. God, be with us today, we pray in your name. Amen. It is a great day. And normally right about now, I will be sharing what my title is for my message. It is not Bridgeview Church Welcome Home, but that is the slide you will see all morning because I don't have any other slides. Okay? So kids, we're not going to tell Pastor Steve. We're not going to tell Pastor Sterling. We're not going to tell Pastor... What's that? In the past couple weeks, there's been a guy on the screen that you're supposed to count how many guys you see, and then at the end of the service. So being that there are no slides, there will be no guys. So at the end of the service, when you tell me how many guys, 17, and there weren't, up on the screen, you let me know, and you will have a treat that's given to you for all 17 guys that weren't on the screen, okay? Parents, help your kids out. Thank you. Chandler's laughing. Yes. I knew I had one fan. My wife was good. But anyways, this morning we're going to talk about Joshua, okay? Joshua from the Bible, not just some random guy named Josh, but Joshua from the Bible. I'll give you a little bit of background story. Again, I don't have the title of the message right now. I'm going to share that about 75% of the way through. So you have to pay attention so you know what the title of the message is. If you want to get to that point and you think you got your own title, that's fine. Keep it to yourself. It's my sermon, not yours. Okay. We're having some fun this morning, right? So just a little bit about Joshua. He's one of my favorite characters in the Bible. I don't know if you're supposed to have favorites. If you do have a favorite, it's supposed to be Jesus. If you're not, you're a sinner. But Joshua is one of my favorites. I love Joshua. Okay? To kind of start off, he was one of the original, one of the 12 spies that Moses sent out after Moses helped the Israelites leave Egypt. He sent 12 spies out to the land of Canaan to check things out, to scope it out. Joshua was one of those 12. And we can go further into that and talk about what his belief on whether or not there were giants or whether or not they could overtake them or not. But he was one of those 12. He was kind of Moses' assistant. Okay, he was kind of like his right hand guy. He kind of helped him out through a lot of different things. So just so you know, we're going to spend a lot of time this morning in the book of Joshua, talking about him. So if you want to turn there really quick, Joshua chapter 1, we're going to kick it off right at the beginning. Super easy. So you can go to the front, the reference, and look at your Bible like, oh, that's page 300, whatever pages. Go there. Joshua 1, chapter 1, verse 1 and 2. It says, after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord said, Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' aide, Moses, my servant, is dead. I apologize for kicking off the sermon this morning with that. Moses is dead across the Jordan River into the land I'm about to give him to the Israelites. See, this was the moment that he took over from Moses. And talk about some big shoes to fill, first of all. Okay? Like everybody knows about Moses. Less people know about Joshua. Moses, we're talking about the Moses that killed the Egyptian and had to leave Egypt and run away. We talk about the same Moses that was able to float in a basket for a while and then was rescued. God had his hand on Moses. Later on, Moses obviously moves and helps the Israelites exit from Egypt. This is a big thing. We're talking 10 Commandments Moses. We're talking Red Sea Moses. We're talking Moses, right? He's got some big shoes to fill. I don't know about you, but if I am following behind somebody with that kind of, is clout still a word? If you're following somebody with that kind of reputation, that's some big shoes, and I would be a little bit nervous. Joshua doesn't seem to let that affect him too much. Verse 3 to chapter 1 here says, I will give you, this is the Lord talking back to Joshua still, I will give you every place where you set your foot, as I promised Moses. Your territory will extend from the desert to Lebanon and from the great river the Euphrates, all the Hittite country, to the Mediterranean Sea in the west. No one will be able to stand against you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their ancestors to give them. Verse, isn't it? If you were Joshua, wouldn't you be really glad that that's the word that you received from the Lord? Because one of the last words that Moses received from the Lord was, hey, you're going to go to the mountain and die. Can we just for a second be appreciative for Joshua that his word was not going to go die? That he's like, hey, all those things I promised Moses and the Israelites, you get to do it. That's exciting, right? Yes. It's okay, we can be happy, we can smile, and shout. Maybe later. All right. See, God gave Joshua a very clear promise, though. In verse 9, he goes on, and kids, I want kids to listen to this. Everybody, all the kids, if you're under the age of 43, I'm just kidding. Kids, look at me. If you watch, over the time that we couldn't meet together here, if you watch all the kids' videos, you heard this verse. It says, have I not commanded you? Verse 9, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Anybody? What's next? Yes! Are you busy right now? You want to? It's Father's Day, relax. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You're not going to laugh. You were so awesome. So. God's promise to lead Joshua as he led the Israelites was incredible. It was such a, that is a moment, you pray for that kind of thing. God, I want to hear from you. I want to hear good things from you. I want to hear about all the promises and stuff like that you have for me in my life. Talk about feeling invincible. Where he says in verse 5 that nobody will be able to withstand you. That's a pretty good feeling. It's kind of like the Vikings going into this. That's the opposite side. God did some amazing, amazing things throughout Joshua's life. Okay, and I promise we're not just gonna do like character, like assessment, evaluation of Joshua and who he was and what he got to experience, but that's where we're starting, so we're gonna go through this, okay? And I'm sorry, I can't expand on each of these accounts because we're going to specific places this morning. But we're gonna touch on a lot of the things that Joshua was able to experience and be able to be a part of in throughout his life, okay? So I apologize if it's really brief because I kind of have to be. These are just some highlights, okay? So first of all, he was born in Egypt, okay? He was born in Egypt, born a slave. He got to be a part of the slavery that was happening at that point in time by the Egyptians, whatever, building these amazing structures and all this kind of fun stuff, okay? So in Exodus chapter 7 through 12, he got to see firsthand the plagues as Moses came and asked Pharaoh, let my people go. You've seen the movies before. If you're a Christian for more than 10 years, you've seen, let my people go. And Pharaoh said, no. So, but anyways, the plagues, he got to see those things firsthand. He got to experience God's power and his wrath, frankly, on Egypt. He got to see that. It's an incredible display of God's power. Okay? After the exit from Egypt, he got to follow after the pillar of fire during the day, during the night, and the cloud during the day. Now, the cool thing about that this could be a sermon in itself, is the fact that God loves and cares so much for his people that what he got to see at that one time was God's care, God's love for his people. Why was it a pillar of fire at night? In the desert, it's cold at night. The fire was not just meant for guidance, it was also meant for warmth. The cloud during the day was desert, sunny, hot. The cloud during the day was not only just to guide his people, but to keep them cool. God loved and cared, and he got to see that firsthand. Again, after the exit from Egypt, he crossed the Red Sea with the rest of the Israelites. Like, this is amazing stuff, right? Like, you go to the edge of the sea, like Moses got arms up. He's doing the whole thing there. And to cross the Red Sea. Now, there's lots of theories of how that happened scientifically. Let me just say, he crossed the sea. Does it matter how it happened? The Lord made it happen. He crossed the sea, right? That's in Exodus chapter 14. He ate manna from heaven in Exodus chapter 16. Like, God's provision in its purest form. Like, you don't know what you're going to eat. You wake up the next morning, hey, manna, what up? You get to eat food because of God's provision. You got to see that firsthand, okay? Now we're done with Exodus. We're moving forward to Joshua. All the kids in the place say Joshua.
Joshua.
Listen, I got 3 kids, and I know your voices are louder than that. Okay, we're going to try this again. Everybody on the count of 3, we're going to say Joshua. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip ahead to the book of Joshua. Starting in chapter 3, verse 5. This is the story of the crossing of the Jordan. Similar to the idea of crossing the Red Sea, but it's a river, okay? Verse 5 in chapter 3, Joshua told the people, consecrate yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do amazing things among you. That's some amazing things. Now, if you are an Israelite and you've already crossed the Red Sea, and somebody says he's going to do amazing things, I'd be like, oh, this will be cool. I want to see this. You know, you're getting excited. Okay? Then verse 15 to 17. Now the Jordan is at flood stage all during the harvest. So right there, that just debunked the theory that it looks like the Mississippi right now. Here we can probably walk across the thing. It's at flood stage all during the harvest. Yet as soon as the priests who carried the ark reached the Jordan and their feet touched the water's edge, the water from upstream stopped flowing. It piled up in a heap a great distance away at a town called Adam in the vicinity of Zarephath. I don't know if that's correct. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. While the water flowing down to the Dead Sea was completely cut off. So the people crossed over opposite Jericho. Verse 17, the priests who carried the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord stopped in the middle of the Jordan and stood on dry ground while all of Israel passed by. When the whole nation had completed the crossing, while all Israel passed by until the whole nation had completed the crossing on dry ground. Again, incredible. How many people have ever seen a river completely dried up like that? Yeah, I don't think so either. I've never seen this. This is some cool stuff. When you come to a point where you need to cross something in your life and you don't see a way and God makes a way, we're not going to preach that one today because we don't have time for that. You ready for that? That's good stuff. Before the water comes back, okay, this is the story of the 12 stones. If you've heard me preach before, you may have heard me mention the 12 stones. One of my favorite parts of the Bible, okay? Joshua chapter 4, starting in verse 4 through 7. Joshua called together the 12 men he had appointed from the Israelites, one from each tribe. And he said to them, go over before the ark of the Lord your God in the middle of the Jordan. Each of you is to take up a stone on his shoulder according to the number of the tribes of the Israelites, to serve as a sign among you. Listen to this part. This is very important. You want to push pause, record. Like if you had the old VCR thing where you had to like push pause and record at the same time, and it usually wouldn't work or whatever. But this is something you want to remember. Okay? In the future, when your children ask you what these stones mean, tell them that the flow of the Jordan was cut off before the Ark of the Covenant. When it crossed the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. These stones are to be a memorial to the people of Israel forever. You're going to want to remember that. Okay? So far, as Joshua has taken over, we have crossing the Jordan. We've got 12 stones. Well, 12 stones really isn't like a miracle. It's just a part of that. Okay? Next up, you got a little hint to where we're going. He talked about how you're crossing over by Jericho. Here we are. Walls of Jericho, chapter 6. Okay? Verse 15 and 16, then we'll jump to verse 20. On the seventh day, they got up at daybreak and marched around the city 7 times in the same manner. Except on that day, they circled the city 7 times. The 7th time around, when the priest sounded the trumpet blast, Joshua commanded the army, shout, for the Lord has given you the city. Verse 20, when the trumpet sounded, the army shouted, and the sound of the trumpet, when men gave a loud shout, the walls collapsed. So everyone charged straight in, and they took the city. Now again, we could stop and preach all about Jericho. We could talk about how big the walls were, how strong the walls were, and how amazing it was. And if you just believe and walk around the walls in your life, you can see God's here. And we can do that. We're not doing that this morning. We're going to keep moving. Ready? Next up is the story of Sun Stand Still. Again, one of my favorites. This is incredible. Joshua chapter 10. If you don't know this one, you can read this one. It's good stuff. Joshua chapter 10, starting at verse 7 through 14. How many people are still with me, by the way? We're still here. Awesome. Awesome. Verse 7. So Joshua marched up from Gilgal. I'm sorry, I need to pause. I forgot to put this in my notes. I need to give just a little bit of thing. So Joshua was leading the Israelites, and he had a group of people that came to him, lied to him, but said, hey, we need your protection. Can we stay with you? Kind of thing. We're from a long ways off. They lied, but nonetheless, the leaders of the Israelites and Joshua decided to enter kind of like a covenant with them that, yes, you can camp with us, you can be with us, and we will protect you, you'll be a part of this. Nice throw. But you can be a part of it. So that, later on here now, what happened is the 5 Amorite kings decided to attack that group of people. So that group of people sent a message to Joshua saying, hey, don't forget about us, come help us out. So here we are. Verse 7, Joshua marched up from Gilgal with his entire army, including all the best fighting men. The Lord said to Joshua, do not be afraid of them. I have given them into your hand. Not one of them will be able to withstand you. This is good stuff. Not one will be able to withstand you. How many people would like to know going into some sort of trial or battle of your life, knowing not one will be able to withstand you? If you're not raising your hand right now, I should say it again. I would like to go in knowing, like, hey, I got this, we're good. But anyways, not one will be able to withstand you. Verse 9, after an all-night march from Gilgal, Joshua took them by surprise. The Lord threw them into confusion before Israel, so Joshua and the Israelites defeated them completely at Gibeon. Israel pursued them along the road up to Beth Horon and cut them down all the way to Azekah and Makkedah. This is the right saying, so sorry. As they fled before Israel on the road down to Beth Horon to Azekah, the Lord hurled large hailstones down on them, and more of them died from the hail than were killed by the swords of the Israelites. On the day the Lord gave the Amorites over to Israel, Joshua said to the Lord in the presence of Israel, I want you to listen to the faith in this man's voice. It's incredible. He said to the Lord in the presence of Israel, sun, stand still over Gibeon, and you, moon, over the valley of Ayalon. So the sun stood still, and the moon stopped, till the nation avenged itself on its enemies. The sun stopped in the middle of the sky, delayed going down for about a full day. There has never been a day like it before or since, a day when the Lord listened to a human being. Surely the Lord is fighting for Israel. I mean, can we just agree for a second? Like, the sun stops in the sky. I work construction during the week, and there's times where I need to get something done before it gets dark outside. I'm probably not going to go to the sky and be like, stop, be time. Maybe it's because I don't have enough faith, but Like, could you imagine not only the faith of Joshua in that moment, but then to have it happen? Because he goes back to the Lord and says, hey, you said in order to be able to complete this, the whole thing, not just part of it, not just a little bit, not just most of it, the whole thing. And I'm running out of time, so that needs to stop. And boom, stop. For about a day. It's incredible. Joshua had seen and experienced it all. See, these are the types of things that, like, we wish and we hope for. Some of the greatest displays of God's power that have ever happened in mankind, or ever in the history of the earth. Okay? Now, God has done some amazing things in my life, your life, whatever. God has done some incredible things. But this, I'm sorry, like, this is up there. God had done some amazing things to Joshua, and he had seen this firsthand. This is the stuff that I want to see GoPro footage of when I go to heaven, right? You with me? Like, I want to see this. I want to see how that happened. I want to watch the Red Sea. That's the stuff I want to see. But again, this is not a history lesson today. This is not a, hey, let's listen to the cool things that happened to Joshua. Right about now, some of you are like, how does this apply to me? I'm not crossing a river. When I do, I get on the bridge and I go all the way across. It's fun. How does this apply to me? What I just did was I set the stage for my actual sermon. That was the longest intro of all time. Now I've got 8 minutes to preach. We're going to do this. Is that okay? So let's start the message. Take your Bibles. Turn to Judges chapter 2. This is not like the super fancy, handsome book in the Bible to turn to. Not everybody was like, hey, I was reading Judges the other day. No, you're usually like, I was reading Acts, or I was reading Hebrews, or Corinthians, or something that's more like, Judges is like, let's just flip a couple pages. But here's the thing, okay? Judges chapter 2. Something I had read before, but not super close, because it's Judges. And so, Judges chapter 2, starting in verse 7. The people served the Lord throughout the lifetime of Joshua, and the elders who outlived him, and who had all seen great things the Lord had done for Israel. Joshua, the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110. Kids, how many people know that 110 is very old? Okay? So next time you look at your dad, or your mom, or your grandpa, or grandma, and you call them old, that's not old. Unless they're 110, that's old. Okay? Died at the age of 110. And they buried him in the land of his inheritance at Timnath Eres? I'm sorry. Can anybody pronounce this? At Timnath Eres in the hill country of Ephraim, north of Mount Gash. Verse 10. Verse 10 is the entire thing we're summing up here. Verse 10 says, after that whole generation had been gathered to their ancestors. In other words, when that whole generation had passed, when they had died and been buried, after that whole generation had been gathered to their ancestors, another generation grew up who knew neither the Lord nor what he had done for Israel. Now, this is not just a Father's Day message. It fits really well. But this is not just for fathers this morning. Somewhere along the line, the Israelites had seen the most incredible, amazing moves of God that could possibly have ever happened. Some of the most insane, unbelievable, that if they weren't in the Bible, it would be really hard to, like, did that really happen? They saw some of the most incredible things, but can you imagine? These people saw it firsthand. God's power, God's provision, his faithfulness, his love, his care. They saw it firsthand. The best that had ever happened, the greatest that had ever happened, the biggest, the grandest that had ever happened, and somehow they dropped the ball. Behind them, a generation came that knew nothing of the Lord or what the Lord had done. That hurts a little bit, doesn't it? Maybe you're not there yet, and you'll have to listen to me for another few sentences before you get there. But an entire generation follows them that neither knows the Lord or what he had done. And they had seen it firsthand. They walked through the Red Sea. They walked through the Jordan River. They fought under the sun. They were able to be a part of this. Now, when we go back to what we talked about in the 12 stones, there was literally a monument built, not because they're like, hey, we need a statue over here. They're talking because this is a monument that the Lord said, build this, so when your kids ask, you can tell them what God did. You can tell them about God's faithfulness. You can tell them exactly where you crossed the Jordan River. You can tell them specifically what God did in your life. He specifically says to them so you can tell your children. And isn't it funny that just a little bit later on in the Bible, all of a sudden their children don't know? They dropped the ball. They missed it. Now it's not all Joshua's fault, right? How does an entire generation not pass these things down that were so monumental? Like this kind of thing was only happening to the Israelites at the time because they were God's chosen people. God was doing this for them. Their very existence was there because of God. Because of God's freedom that they experienced leaving Egypt. It was so monumental and somehow they dropped that ball. See, at first when I started thinking about this, I thought, this is hard for me to comprehend. How do you not share this? How do you not see this? How do you not pass this down? And then I started to kind of like think about things. Like, why is it difficult to have tough conversations with our kids, with those that we love, with the people that we work beside, with the people that we live next to? Why is it so hard to have those conversations? Why is it so hard to share our story? Why is it so hard to share what God has done, is doing, has promised? See, we can talk about anything else. We can talk about weather, we can talk about sports that aren't happening right now. We can talk about any of these other things with people that we come in contact with, but we can't talk about the things that matter the most. It seems easy to pass on those things now, doesn't it? Now all of a sudden we realize, like, I can kind of see it. I can kind of understand. The problem is the lack of being kingdom-minded. Not being kingdom-minded. I preached on being kingdom-minded several times before, but it was like last year or the year before, whatever it was. But being kingdom-minded, if you don't know, is basically approaching our thoughts and our actions through the lens of what's eternally significant. Not what your emotions say is good right now, not what culture says is good right now, but what is eternally significant. What God is specifically doing and what is eternally significant. So here it is. I struggled so much with what to title this message. Okay? That's why I'm not sharing it until right now. I started off with, maybe a call, what's your gift? Now, that's kind of lame, and usually you're talking about like the talents, just like that in the New Testament when you're talking about gifts. So then I thought, well, what is your legacy? Well, legacy is kind of a sounding word, everybody uses legacy, so I don't like that. They thought, what if we call it will they know? No, that's not good either. Can I just push pause for a second? Parents, I love that your kids are in here. Like, I'm not distracted by these kids. These are awesome kids. If you can look at me really quick, I'm so glad you're here. You guys are awesome, and I'm glad that you're with your families today. This is great. So, parents, if you're watching online, I get it. I see you. That's awesome. Bring your kids. But anyways, when I got through all this, trying to figure out what do I call this message, I finally settled on part of a quote that I've been just rattling around in my brain for the last probably month or so. I don't remember where I heard it, and I don't remember who first said it, but here's what I want you to take out a pen. I want you to write it down on a notebook, piece of paper. If you don't have a note paper, write it on your hand. It should be this good. If you don't have that, or you don't want to write it yourself, you don't do tattoos, you can instead pull out your phone, and you can text this to somebody that you want to talk about this message with later on, okay? This is good stuff. You ready for this? It's called, If Men Don't Teach, ... If men don't teach. Now, there's more to the quote after this. I'll share that in a second. And I need to also say that this is not just exclusive, like just men. This is for all of us this morning. But the quote goes like this: if men don't teach, boys won't know. Okay? And again, it's not exclusive to men and boys. This is exclusive to everybody, which makes it not exclusive. If men don't teach, boys won't know. So your title, if you're writing it down or if you're texting it right now, if men don't teach, ... And I would challenge you to send that to somebody and text them. They'll be like, what? What's going on? Answer me. What do you want to say? But anyways, the meaning isn't literal, just men and boys, but the thought is that if something is important enough for somebody to know, it needs to be taught. It needs to be shared, okay? And here's the reason why, and I promise I'm closing down really quickly here. If men don't teach, boys won't know. See, what we leave to others, what we leave to a future generation is incredibly important and a vital part of our calling. What we leave behind. Now, by saying leave behind, I'm not talking about when you die, although yes, when you die as well. But I'm saying when you leave a conversation, when you leave a room, when you leave a relationship, whatever that looks like, when you leave, what you leave behind is eternally significant. and part of your calling. What you leave behind. Now we could go into talking about money. Well, when I die, I want to leave a significant inheritance to my kid. Well, that's great. That's totally fine and cool. And that is important as well. But what is eternally significant? What you leave behind is incredibly important and a vital part of your calling. Here's a few things that can look like. First of all, your ability to serve. When you serve, what you're doing is you're pouring your heart out into something and you are showing, literally with your actions, what's important. When you leave behind a legacy that you serve, what you're leaving behind is also your heart to be like Christ. Because Jesus came to serve, not to be served. Is that correct? What we are doing is we're leaving behind a part of our heart as well to follow after what God has for us. Your ability to serve makes a difference in our church, our community, our families, wherever you go. It leaves behind that heart of God to serve. The next thing looks like it could be your ability to give. Okay? Again, sorry, I mentioned money. But your generosity shows that you're willing to sacrifice so others may know Christ. Or you're able to give to others knowing that somebody could use something, that God has blessed you to in turn be a blessing. Your generosity says more about your heart than it does about your pocketbook. So I'm not looking for money this morning. What I'm saying is that your heart, your ability to show that you give, that you're generous, is something that you leave behind that's just as important as your ability to serve. Finally, the last one. This is one I've struggled with a little bit this week as I'm going through and trying to figure out how to preach this and how do I speak clearly to this. But finally, it's your ability to share your story. This is where we're going to land today. I would venture to say that people in this room, that everybody in this room has a part of your life that you can share your story. That there are things that you've experienced in the presence of God that nobody knows about. That there are moments of your life where God has been faithful that you haven't told anyone. There's moments in your life where you've gone through the most difficult, tough things, but nobody knows how you came out the other side. Nobody knows how that came through. I want to ask you this question this morning. And this is what we're gonna stew on. And once we leave this place, you're all gonna think of this question right here. Is what is your story and who needs to hear it? You see, the Israelites' next generation needed to hear what God had done. They needed to hear about the greatness of who he was. They needed to hear not just, oh yeah, we walked across the river once. They needed to hear why and what happened. They needed to hear about the faithfulness of God, the provision of the manna. They needed to hear about how they came from slavery to freedom. They needed to hear about those things, and they didn't hear it. Now let's that could be. Let's apply that back to us. What is it that I have inside here or inside here that I haven't verbalized, I haven't spoken to somebody that they need to hear? What is it that can change this person's life? What is it that God has brought me through that this person doesn't know about? And maybe they're dealing with the same thing. Maybe they're walking through the same darkness that we've experienced, and maybe that darkness is the reason why we don't want to talk about it. Because it's too hard, it's too difficult, it's too painful to try to think about. But what have you experienced? Have you experienced God's faithfulness in ways that could encourage somebody else who's going through a hard time? Has your marriage been put through the ringer only to come out stronger and closer to your spouse? What could that do to other marriages? Has your family been through difficult times where you went through some of the darkest, hardest times of your life and you haven't shared that with somebody, but yet there's other families that go through that every single day? There are marriages and families broken apart because we're not sharing. Our story can bring encouragement and bring peace to situations that people don't have or don't see. Do you have a mentor that's walked you through some of the things in your life that you can do the same thing for somebody else? Could you be the person to disciple somebody to a further and closer relationship with God? Could you be that person? But it's uncomfortable. Yeah, sometimes it is. But what you leave behind is eternally significant. What you leave behind is eternally significant. Have you experienced issues with your finances and overcome them to become a good steward of what God has given you? Imagine sharing that with somebody that's struggling, paycheck to paycheck. Hey, God has shown me this. I want to help you walk through this. Could you imagine what that would do for a family? Could you imagine what that could do? Could you imagine sharing your story and watching it change somebody's life? Could you imagine having the ability to share the story and not doing it, not watching it change somebody's life? I think we could. same way that the Israelites didn't know what God had done or who he was. So are we understanding what God's trying to say to us today? I promise you, when I put together the sermon, it's not like what should I talk about today? The weather? I've been praying about this, and God dropped this in my heart, and it's something that I'm struggling with as well. But are we understanding what he's saying today? May we not be the people that experience firsthand the presence of God, the faithfulness of God, the provision of God, the healing of God, whatever it is that God has done in our lives. Let us not be the people that experience it firsthand and then didn't pass it on. May we not be that people. We're only ever one generation away. This shows it right here. If these people can experience all that God did in the way that they did and still miss it, we are one generation away from missing it. And fathers, today, again, this is not just a Father's Day message, but this is for us. What are the conversations we need to have with our kids? Your kids might know what's going on in your life and what you've gone through in your life, but tell them. Wait till they're the age that they can understand, but tell them, man, I was going through the most difficult part of my life, and God walked me through this. Here's how. As a man that believes in God, has a relationship with Him, I owe it to my kids to walk them through what God has walked me through. If men don't teach, boys won't know. Fill it in any other way you want. If men don't teach, girls won't know. If girls won't teach, girls won't know. If women don't teach, boys won't know. However you want to say it, if we don't teach, they don't know. See, sometimes there's an apprehension in telling our story. Maybe it hurts too much to bring up, but that pain is exactly where you level with the other person that's going through it. That pain is exactly what they may be feeling. When we share our story, not only do you walk alongside them, but you get to show them directly, God walked through me, or walked through this with me. He walked me through it. He brought us to the other side. Here's how. Here's what happened. I don't know what's going to happen with your life, or I don't know what God's going to do in your situation, but God is able, He is capable, and He will do it in your life. I believe it for you. What would that do in somebody else's life? We're called to be disciples. Amen? See, even though it might be tough, it might hurt to bring it up, what you've experienced is nothing in comparison to the glory that God will bring from it if you allow Him to use it. It's painful. It might hurt. But when you allow God to use it, He multiplies it. Look at the Bible and what God does. When we live with an open hand and say, God, my situation hurts, it's painful, I don't like it, but here, if you can take it, if you can do anything with it, please do. And He multiplies it. It's in the Bible over and over and over. It's what He does. All across this room, let's just close our eyes, bow our heads. If you're at home, on the couch, or if you're driving your car, don't close your eyes. But we're going to pray this morning. Lord, we come before you this morning, God, humbled by the fact that some of the greatest stories that have ever taken place in this world, Lord God, were forgotten about, were overlooked, were passed up by the people that needed to share it. So, Father, this morning, search us. God, see into our hearts, see into our life, Lord God. Bring healing to the situations where we're still hurting from, that we're still reeling from. And God, this morning, I pray that you would cause us to speak up, Lord God, to tell others, Lord God, to walk through things hand in hand with other believers, with other people, Lord God. We believe, God, that you walk us through those things, not for no meaning, but God, so that you can bring glory to yourself through the situation. Father, I pray for every person in this place that right now, I believe that God is bringing things to the forefront of your mind. That He's calling you, that you need to tell somebody about this. That doesn't mean it's today. It doesn't mean at the end of the service you're walking with somebody and saying, so my wife and I have been fighting a lot. No, what I'm saying is that God is bringing these things to the forefront of your mind so you can speak to somebody about this, about the situation He is walking you through. So Father, I pray that all across this room, these situations that we're dealing with or have dealt with, God, that you would bring them to the forefront, Lord God. Allow us to have conversations, Lord God, to reach people, to encourage people, to help people, Lord God, to disciple other people through the same situations we've been through. Father God, that you would use our story. God, that you would use us, Lord God, in some way to speak to other people that need to hear it, God. Let us not be the generation that saw firsthand and then dropped the ball. God, this morning, do what only you can do in the hearts of each and every person that's in this place. We love you, God. We praise you in your name. Amen. Church, I went 10 minutes over. It's probably because my intro is too long. You guys, we love you so much. I want to encourage you. Life is so better together. And it's not just because we like friends. It's because God has given you the opportunity to speak into their life. God has given you a story for a reason, not just share hey, it's one time we did it. Because God can use that story to change somebody else's life. We don't have a specific altar call this morning, but I want you guys to fix on this throughout this week. If men don't teach, ... Share that with people. Not for my sake, not for the church's sake, but for conversation's sake. If men don't teach, boys won't know. We love you. We're so glad you're with us. It's so good to be together again. Let's just pray. I'm sorry. I asked you to pray again. Lord, be with us today. Lord God, bless the dads in and around this room, Lord God. We pray that you'll be with us throughout this week. Be with Pastor Steve and Lisa and God. And God, we just love you so much. May you just bless your people. In your name we pray. Amen. Have a great day. See you guys next week. Love you all.